Hi Stampers, this is Kim Tolbert with Great Inspirations. Thank you for joining me. Today I have 3 cards that have a lot in common. First of all, they all use a color theme of black, white, and red, and in this case the red is Poppy Parade. And they all have some black and white designer series paper or pattern paper. And they also have 3 images each as their focal points. Now, I've done blog posts before and videos before about the number 3 and how it's just a great way to organize how your elements of the card go together. Also, I think 3, when it comes to your choice of color, is a good number for your basic colors. That you can see here, I have added some green, but this one I've just stuck to the black, white, and red. But besides that, the other thing they all have in common is placement. When I made these cards, I took my images and I placed them on the pattern paper in a way that I thought would look nice. But then there's a problem. When I go to add the adhesive or to add dimensionals, well, I have to move them. And then sometimes when I put them back, my design just goes awry. So in order to solve that problem, I happen to remember a technique that came out, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe before that, and it was called the floating frame. And in order to create a frame around, say, a sentiment or maybe an image, you would use a product called Preston Seal. And this is available widely in all kinds of places, like, Walmart, Target, your local grocery store. Now, this has 70 square feet, and I want to tell you, I have had this particular box of Preston Seal in my craft room since, I think, 2015. So that's almost 6 years. And I have used it quite often, but I still have a lot of it left. So it was a really good investment. I don't recall how much it was back then, but for the 70 square foot roll, I looked today, and at Walmart you can get it for a little over $3. So between $3 and $4, at least here in Indiana. So I'm going to show you how I used that to get my images exactly where I wanted them. And I thought we would walk through putting this card together. And this card was made using the hexagon dies from the Beautiful Shapes dies that are available now in the Stampin' Up! January through June 2022 mini catalog. But the sentiments I used are from the All Squared Away stamp set, and that is in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. And I use, let's see, this one, The Happiest of Birthdays to You. And then on the inside, I also used another sentiment, You Are So Worth Celebrating. So I thought we would, like I said, walk through putting together this card right here. And so what you're going to need, of course, is your card base. And for the card base, I took basic black, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then for the inside, a piece of basic white, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. And I did stamp the greeting for the inside. The best thing about today is you. That's a little bit different than the one I stamped in here. But then you'll also need a piece of Poppy Parade, and this Poppy Parade is 4 by 5 1/4. and then a piece of pattern paper that is black and white. The design, you know, that's up to you. Go through your stash, see what you have. And this is 3 3/4 by 5. And then you're going to need 3 die cuts each, 3 of Poppy Parade and 3 of Basic White. They can be squares, they can be circles, ovals, whatever you want. I just happened to decide to use the hexagons. And then you're also going to need some of these black matte dots that are found in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, or whatever other embellishments you have that you like. And of course you're going to need some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and the stamp from the stamp set, and this says Happiest of Birthdays to You. And we will be stamping it 3 times. I've also talked about that. Sometimes you stamp your greeting 3 times, and that just gives your card a little extra zing. So, first thing we'll do, before we do any stamping or anything like that, I'm going to put these layers together, because I found when I'm doing my placement and using the Preston Seal, it's best if I have my layers together. That's just what works for me. You can, if you don't care to do that, that's fine. You can do it the way that works best for you. So we'll take some adhesive, and let's see here. Get this right inside here. Turn it. There's that. Now we'll put our Designer Series paper, which this Designer Series paper happens to be the Pattern Party, and it's one of the items you can get with Stampin' Rewards, and you can find it in the back of the annual catalog and all the information about it. So just get that right on here. Get these ready to put on the card base. So there's that. And now we're going to do a little stamping. As I said, I've already stamped the inside, but I'm not sure you're going to be able to see the white on white. I'm going to put this right here. And what I like about these little hexagon die cuts, and especially using this greeting, I'm going to be able to line up the center part of the sentiment of birthdays right with these 2 points, and that will help me to keep them straight. So I'll ink up the stamp, get it centered, and there we go. And then what we're going to do, we would do that 2 more times. Then we'll get ourselves 3 of these. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, you can see how I put them on here. And I think I'll just put them about the same way on this one. If your paper, pattern paper, does have lines or dots or something that you can line things up evenly, that always helps. It's kind of nice. I'm going to put this one right here. And here comes the Preston Seal. Now, one side of this is slick, and the other side you'll feel it's a little sticky. It feels like it has a little bit of adhesive. Now this, I've pulled it off the roll, and then I just used my scissors to trim it down a little bit. And we're just going to put this right over the top. And then we're going to lift it up. Let's get that. There we go. Flip it over. Now, I decided that I wanted the middle one to be on dimensionals. So it has dimensionals, these 2 don't. So here's the middle one. and I'm going to put some dimensionals on it. Now, you could put dimensionals on all 3 of them. That's totally up to you. I'm just going to put it on the middle one, kind of let it stand out just a little. And let's put some adhesive on these, the top one and the bottom one. Oops. There we go. Pull these off. Maybe. There we go. And now we'll get our card base over here. Kind of remember that where you had it. Remember, I used those lines. Line it up. Press it down. And then we're going to just pull this very gently off of here. And then I save my Preston Seal. I just have a little bit, or well, it's a little bowl I put it in. And you can use it several times. You can use it over several times. So there are images are on, and now we're going to take the little black matte dots. We're going to use 3 of them. And they're, whoops, that one, the adhesive was kind of coming off. There we go. And that was just that easy to get the placement on there just the way you wanted. Now, if you don't have Preston Seal, but you have some washi tape, I'll show you what you can do with that. It's sort of the same thing. I have a card base here, and or at least a piece of cardstock, and 3 images, and I just place them, put my washi tape on them, lift them up, and then you would do the exact same thing. Put your adhesive on. For this, I'm just going to use adhesive on all 3 of them. Get your placement. And then you need to be just a little more careful peeling this off. See, it took some of the cardstock. But I've had this on all morning, so I probably shouldn't have done that. But it does work, and I have had it work several times. But that is one of the drawbacks to using the washi tape or using painter's tape or any other low-tack tape. It could peel your cardstock. But you might be able to save it, stamp a little image or something over it. But that is an option. But as you saw, you have to be very, very careful. And I probably might have pressed down a little hard when I put the washi tape on. I'm not sure. But for me, the best solution for getting the placement the way I had it and wanted it and liked it was by using the Preston Seal. So that's just my little tip for the day. And here are the other 3 cards I created using that Preston Seal to get my alignment of my images just where I wanted it. And there's the one we just made together. Now, in the description of this video, which that's just below the video, there should be a little arrow, at least on my device it's an arrow, and you push it and that's where you'll find the description. But I will put a link to the corresponding blog post where I talk about this, and I will tell you all the dimensions for these cards and all the items I used to create them. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, stamp happy.